been 3 murders on Long Harvest Lane, decades apart. The bodies are all identical.
Welcome back to the channel where we go and actually review new content on all the streaming platforms. Today I'm going to go and actually get into Bodies on Netflix. Now this new series has 8 episodes to it, each going roughly about 50 to 55 minutes apiece. And the way that we're going to go and actually review this is I'm going to go ahead and actually go over a little bit, read a little bit about the bio, see who's starring in it, all that kind of good stuff. Then we're going to go and actually view the trailer. I'll give you my expectations. And then on the other side of it, I'll watch 2 episodes of it and then give you my verdict. So that's the breakdown of how we're going to go and actually do a review. Now, let's take a look at this bad boy. So it premiered in October of 2023 on Netflix. And this is a crime drama mystery, as we can see. And here's the synopsis for it. It says 4 detectives in 4 different time periods of London find themselves investigating the same murder. So that seems very intriguing. It seems like it's got elements of sci-fi along with being a crime drama mystery type of deal. So I'm probably going to say that I'm going to be a main target audience for this because I'm into crime drama and I'm definitely into sci-fi stuff. So I think I'm going to be into this. So on here we have Emeka Okafor, Kyle Soler, Stephen Graham, Shira Haas. So I don't recognize any of these names, to be honest with you. I think Stephen Graham is a character actor that I'm familiar with, but no one else on there really calls out to me, which could be a good or bad thing. Not having any main people take away attention will draw more to a story-driven vehicle versus it being a character-driven thing and actually taking away from it. So I'm optimistic about it. Just looking at some of the other people here. We got Jacob Fortune Lloyd, Tom Mothersdale, Greta Sakachi. I'm horrible with names. You guys know that. And just looking on here, there's no other names that I recognize, not even bit parts. So the acting aspect of it, I think is going to be mostly people that are probably capable actors, but nothing overpowering or anything like that. So that's interesting. All right. So what we're going to do next, we're going to actually take a look at the trailer, see if we can glean in a little more from that, give you my expectations, and then we'll get with that review.
At 6 a.m. on the 10th of September, a man was murdered on Long Harvest Lane.
There's not one hit on any database. No DNA on record, no prints. No bullet casings were discovered on the scene, and no exit wound either.
It's impossible.
The murderer's out there.
You found something out, haven't you? D.I. Hillinghead, 1890. D.S. Whiteman, 1941.
There's been 3 murders on Long Harvest Lane, decades apart. The bodies are all identical.
You've fallen down a rabbit hole. I can't follow you.
Tell me what's going on.
The body is from the past, present, and future.
I've got a deceased male with a gunshot wound to the head.
That can't be.
I will not stop until the truth is discovered. It's hard to grasp, isn't it? But I'm going to tell you everything. It's going to blow your mind.
All right, so the trailer actually looks pretty good. It actually looks like a very well made type of TV event, so I'm confident that the production is going to be pretty high value in this. The acting looks like it might be a little bit crazy or whatnot, but the premise actually looks very good. It looks like it is a very self-contained type of story. Here's some of my expectations for it. One, that it is actually a true crime drama mystery, meaning that they are going to drop clues to try and see if we can go and actually solve along with it for the end, before they reveal it to us. So I expect that. Two is that it's probably going to be more plot driven than character driven. As such, it needs to be structured very well. I will probably, like I said, I will suspend a lot as far as the acting if the plot and premise is actually delivered upon pretty well. That I'm pretty sure on. And then the last thing for this one for me, I think what I'm gonna be looking forward to or have expectation of is time period pieces of being very drawn into whatever time period that we're doing, as it seems in that trailer we're going back to the like 1890ish, I believe it was, 1941, 2023, and then in the future, 2053. So I think for this one, I'm going to go ahead and actually look for a lot of time set pieces that'll kind of draw you into the era that they're in, the crime solving techniques that they're going to be utilizing, the investigation and things like that. I think I'm going to be really high on seeing that aspect of it, and really have that really tie into the story and make me feel that there's entertainment value in it. So actually, I think I have some pretty good expectations for this. I think I'm going to go into it with a very open mind, and I think I'm raising up my bar for this one. So what I'm going to do is watch the first 2 episodes of Bodies on Netflix, and then in about a few seconds, you're going to go ahead and actually see my expectations and my ultimate verdict for it. If you like how all of that sounds, do me a favor, click like, share, subscribe. And now, let's see what I think of it. Alright, so let me go ahead and actually give you my reaction for Bodies. So for the first episode, in 55-minute runtime, they give you the main players in the 3 different timelines of 1891, 1941, and 2023. And they give each timeline enough time to breathe. So I like that in that first episode. The body that we're actually talking about, that actually appears in all the different timelines, we've actually found out it's the same exact person, found the exact same way, in the same spot every timeline. But by the end of the first episode, you'll notice something about the body through the various different timelines. And I'm not going to spoil it, of course, but it does make sense if you kind of go into the sci-fi realm of things. And so that was an interesting reveal that they had in episode 1. Every timeline has its own tech and biases of the time period, investigation methods. So I really like that. It definitely is prevalent there. It was really fun to see how the city and the neighborhood changes around the site of where the body appears every time in that particular alley or what have you. That was actually really awesome to see. Each detective is different and helps kind of keep the story fresh. They have their own biases, they have their own ideologies, and how the environment and the times actually deals with them and all that kind of stuff on there. So I like that because it brings a fresh perspective just when you kind of get maybe a little bit tired or worn or whatever, you jump to a different timeline and getting something new. So that was awesome. There are definitely a lot of clues that are thrown out in the very beginning, so you're meant to kind of keep an eye out for certain things on there. And I think it's probably a little bit more obvious than the average mystery or crime type of deal. It's almost like, here, look for this, look for that, you heard this, and all that kind of stuff in there. So they're leaving you the breadcrumbs, which is totally out there in episode 1. I'm very much liking the main detectives so far in all the various different timelines, because they have their own little quirks, there's different stories, whatever. I like the way that they are presented to me in that first one. And then at the very last of episode 1, you're kind of given the first few minutes, the first time that you're looking into the future, the 2053 timeline. And it does make you, from the way that one ends, it definitely is a nice boost into trying to get you to watch episode 2. So episode 1 was done very well. Now moving on to episode 2, they start to flesh out the future timeline more, and its main detective and her motivations and things like that, and what she's going through. The future is kind of like presented as almost like kind of like a Demolition Man future. If you've ever watched Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes, it's that type of future. And it's built off of something that happened in 2023. Again, I'm not going to do any spoilers or anything like that. This isn't a spoiling thing, but it does kind of present that type of thing. Like there is definitely jumping off points for various different things. Again, more breadcrumbs are left in the second episode and all the different timelines, showing that there's some type of interconnection between them, not just the body itself. The future aspect of things, the future tech is kind of fun. It's very realistic based off of what we know right now. 30 years in the future, stuff that you can go ahead and actually see happening. Honestly, it just kind of continues with the same thing in episode 1, and it's that rapid fire going from various different timelines to timelines and giving you that type of thing, so you're never too stale or bored staying on one timeline. And I think that's pretty effective in this storytelling. So those are my thoughts on the first 2 episodes on that, and based off of that, my thought process as far as the overall arching story for this particular series, I like the pacing of the series. The amount of time in each timeline seems to be just right. You get a bit more of the investigation, you get a bit more of the mystery, you get a little bit of character development, and then we're moving back to the other one. And so they're giving you just enough of everything to kind of build upon something, give you more foundation, give you more development, and then get to the next one. And I think they're doing a very good job of that, at least in the first 2 episodes. I'm also thinking that probably smarter people, because of the major breadcrumbs and things like that that they're throwing out there, the clues that they're giving you for the various different mystery here, I think probably smart people may have figured out most of it or what have you. I'm an average person. I'm not that smart or what have you. So there's still some questions I have, some things that I haven't put together yet. But I think there's a aspect of this that kind of makes it like, oh, okay, this is what's going to happen for super smart people. So they may have lost them already. But for me, average person, haven't quite made the connection or what have you. So overall, I think that the story is a bit above average, and the way that they're telling it is very well done. So I'm going to go and actually give the storytelling here a B for Bodies. In regards to the acting, this is a very well casted series. And while no one stands out as being phenomenal, I think as a whole, the cast is very good. There's believable reactions and emotions that are conveyed throughout the series. There may have been a couple times where there's kind of like a bit of like hamming it up going on and things like that, maybe a little bit of overreach dramatization and things like that. But overall, the acting was solid throughout the first 2 episodes on there. So I'm also going to give that a B as well. So let me give you some final thoughts on here before I give you my verdict. First of all, going back to my expectations, they definitely hit my expectation for dropping hints and breadcrumbs for solving the mystery. So they had hit that one. The series is definitely story-driven versus character-driven, and that's what you kind of expected of a series like this, and it stayed spot on. Each period piece is its own unique set in and of itself, and we see the various detectives using their own methods available to them. And so that was also an expectation I had, and they hit right onto that. It was very well done. The music in the series is actually almost like a character into itself. I like the music in here, especially build up to like tense moments, or building up crescendos or what have you in here for the various different time periods. I just think it was very well done in that aspect of it. Cinematography was also very well done here, whether we're talking about like vast landscaping or if you're talking about like in confined areas. I just think that whoever was directing the video, the cinematography for this and all that kind of stuff, made you kind of feel one with the environment and time frame that we're in at that given time. You get right up and close when there's emotional scenes or what have you. I just think that there was a very good job done on the shooting level on that. Just some of my random thoughts, expectations, all that kind of good stuff. Now let's get to the verdict. For people that are into crime dramas, murder mysteries, and sci-fi dramas, I'm going to go ahead and actually say watch the first 2 episodes. Now, the first episode is a very good lead into the premise. The second episode really lays out some of the complexities and intertwining themes that people of crime fans will just love. Now, for sci-fi fans, you'll want to get to the second episode to get a better look at the future tech and what drives the story forward there. This series is well crafted and entertaining for those that are of that particular genre and really like that. For casuals, I'm going to say watch one episode. As the production value is high and the mystery is entertaining, a casual is not going to be bored with giving it at least a one episode watch. You'll like the jump to the different timelines and not be bored of that, and that'll make it intriguing. And then ultimately you'll just need to decide if the story's your thing at the end of episode 1. They give you a nice little cliffhanger, and if it's not your bag, you'll know it at the end of episode 1. But you deserve to go ahead and actually at least give it a one episode watch. So again, for main target audiences, give it a 2 episode watch. For casuals, give it a 1 episode watch. And that's what I have for Bodies on Netflix. Check it out.
I'm going to tell you everything. It's going to blow your mind.
You stayed for my entire review. I appreciate you. Hopefully you like the new structure format that we're going for here. Hopefully that works for you. If you like this, do me a favor, click like. If you really like it, go ahead and actually subscribe to the channel. Watch one of my other videos here that the algorithm thinks that you might like. But until the next time, I'll holler at you. Take care of yourself.